Why do your running backs suck in College Football 25? Well, I'm going to be showing you why in this video. It's yet another video in the series where we're going over every single position in College Football 25, going over each of the archetypes, and telling you what you need to know about each one of them. This video, we're talking about running backs. There are three main types of running backs. There are power backs, elusive backs, and receiving backs. But even more, those can be broken down even further. As far as recruiting goes, there's also an athletic version of each of those three archetypes. So there's athletic power backs and regular power backs, athletic elusive, and elusive backs. You get the point. But for this video's sakes, we're only really going to be talking about the three main archetypes, because once you recruit them and they join your team, it doesn't really make a difference on whether they're athletic or not. The only thing the athletic version changes is it can sometimes make them a little bit better at a certain attribute, which we'll go over in a little bit. Now, the elusive back is a super popular type of running back because they're fast, they're elusive, they have better spin, juke, agility, acceleration. They're just an all-around super fun running back to use. But it's important to know that regular elusive backs, not athletic elusive backs, but just the regular elusive backs, tend to be a little bit higher in speed off the rip. Athletic running backs, though, seem to be a little bit better at acceleration, change of direction, and agility, with a little bit better spin moves, actually. There are a couple abilities that are archetype specific for elusive backs. One of them is 360. This one helps with your spin moves, makes them more effective against defenders. They also get these two abilities, Shifty and Sidestep. These are two of the most overpowered abilities in the game. Shifty helps you to maintain speed during your cuts and turns, and Sidestep increases your juke responsiveness and ability to fake out defenders. But before we go over why exactly the running backs upgrade the way that they do, I definitely recommend going back and looking at my quarterback video first, where I went over way more in depth why each person upgrades the way that they do. I'll try to just touch it up a little bit in this video, but if you want the detailed explanation, I would definitely recommend going and watching that first video. Whenever I was looking through all of the abilities for each of the different running back archetypes, I found something very interesting between elusive running backs and power running backs. That the way that they upgrade is pretty similar. The elusive running backs, their elusiveness tier is only 6 points towards the end. So they upgrade their elusiveness quite easy, which is things like their change of direction, their agility, spin, juke, and break tackle. Abilities that really help a running back. Hands are also something that upgrades pretty quick with just 6. That's the same as elusiveness. Their IQ is also the same at a 5 with 3 upgrades left, so that'll upgrade quite a bit. Route running is a 1 at the very bottom, so they'll upgrade route running quite a bit before they're even going to start upgrading any more of these other abilities. But power and quickness take an eternity, especially power. You have 10 skill point upgrades to upgrade power, and we're only just halfway to maxing out this bar. So an elusive back is really not going to upgrade their power at all, which is fine because they are an elusive back. But just know that an elusive back's probably not going to be a dual threat running back. And same thing to know that an elusive running back might not upgrade their speed until multiple seasons in. You see, Quinshon Judkins has 89 speed, and it's going to take him 12 skill points to upgrade it one more upgrade. But look at how many other abilities he has to upgrade before he gets to the 12. So someone like him is probably never going to be able to upgrade speed again. Now, obviously, there are outliers, and sometimes people upgrade really random ways. But like how I said in the first video, the game generally upgrades the cheapest ability before the most expensive ability. So it's going to take a while to get all the way up to this quickness ability. Next, we'll go over power backs. And power backs are some of the most fun running backs that you can use in the game as well, because of just their sheer ability to run over defenders. They're so much better at breaking tackles, they're good at stiff arming, trucking, and ball carrying. But interestingly, athletic power backs generally have a little bit higher strength than regular power backs. And there's actually quite a bit of abilities that power backs get that they're the only archetype that they can have it. Armbar is one of them. This one improves your ability to break tackles using stiff arms and results in quicker broken tackles, which is really nice. Head first is another one which is pretty similar to armbar, but this one just benefits your truck move ability to be able to break tackles and do them a little bit quicker. And then lastly, you get workhorse and downhill. Workhorse helps to increase your wear and tear protection when clotting against other players, and Downhill results in more broken tackles as you get closer and closer to the max speed of your player. But as you get a little higher in that Platinum ability, you only have to reach 80% of your max speed to have this ability unlock, which is kind of insane. So again, when looking at a player like Amarion Hampton, who's a power back, it's interesting to note that the upgrade to power for a power back is exactly the same cost as an upgrade for power for an elusive back. So in general, upgrading power is really hard just across the board for anybody to upgrade. So it's kind of really important whenever you're recruiting a power back to make sure that their abilities in here, like trucking, strength, stiff arming, etc., are as high as possible, because they might not upgrade them for quite some time. A power back's hands upgrade pretty quick with 5 with 3 upgrades left. It's 6 for IQ and 6 for elusiveness, which is very interesting because that means elusiveness upgrades for a power back are the same cost as an elusiveness upgrade for an elusive back, which is real weird. So that means that a power back is very easily going to become a dual threat running back. So if you can get somebody who's decently high to start out in their power abilities, then they're going to upgrade their elusive abilities quite quickly and make them a very balanced running back, maybe the first season to the second season of their career, which is kind of awesome. Route running ability is also extremely cheap with just 2 upgrades here. I mean, it's not very highly upgraded, but it's pretty much almost dead even with elusive backs, and the quickness is exactly the same with 12 upgrades with 2 spots left to go. So again, the speed does not upgrade very easily for any of the running backs, elusive or power so far. Now lastly, we have receiving backs. Receiving backs are kind of an interesting one. Regular receiving backs are generally better at route running, and then athletic receiving backs are better at catching. So sometimes those athletic receiving backs can kind of be moved over to slot receivers, or kind of vice versa. You can get maybe like a route running receiver and move them to running back. They're kind of interchangeable, and you can really be kind of creative with the way that you want to construct your team. There's only 2 abilities that are archetype specific for receiving backs. Safety valve is the first one. It increases their ability to win against man coverage, improves their cutting ability against man coverage, and helps them with their catching ability from the backfield. And then lastly, they can also get the sidekick ability, which improves their ability to cut block while in pass protection. One thing that was really shocking to me though when looking through receiving backs is that their route running ability bucket is so expensive. It is 9 skill points to upgrade Ashton Genty's route running, and he's at the halfway point. So they hardly upgrade their route running at all. Like that's tough. I mean, even this hands ability has 4 upgrades left, which is better than I think both power and elusive running backs. The elusiveness is pretty much exactly the same. The IQ is exactly the same. Your power is exactly the same, and your quickness is exactly the same. So as far as everyone's ability to upgrade is pretty identical, except for, oddly enough, receiving backs have a worse ability to upgrade their route running than either of the other 2 running backs. So that's just something interesting to think about, because you might benefit from moving a running back to a receiver to have him upgrade his route running ability and then move him back if you wanted to have a good route running back. Though it's kind of like a second hand thing for me. I'm not super concerned about my running back's route running ability. So again, it seems to be kind of important that if you are recruiting a receiving running back, then you would want to focus on somebody who has a little bit better route running off the rip, because he might take a while to upgrade that ability. But hey guys, that's going to end the video about running backs. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I would love to see in the comments what type of archetype you guys prefer for running backs and what kind of progress you've seen them make. I feel like there's a lot of different ways that you can move players around, especially at the running back position, or maybe even physical receivers. I've heard a lot of different things that you guys have been doing, and I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments so we can continue to keep growing the community. But I'll see you guys in the next one. But until then, why don't you check out one of these videos.